Hi everyone, and welcome to Creative Homescaping. Pam here, and today I'm going to show you a DIY for St. Patrick's Day. Here's what you'll need to get started. You'll need some foam brushes, some white chalk paint, some antique wax, and a shamrock. This is a shamrock I got at the Target Dollar Spot, which I've shown in another haul video. And it has grooves in it, which I'm hoping the antique wax will go into. And you might also need some sandpaper. I'm going to take a look at how it looks once I've got it painted and see if I want to distress it. So let's get started. First of all, this shamrock comes with this string at the top, and I'm going to take that out so it doesn't get in the way when I'm painting. It has a little knot in it. It's very easy to get undone. Just need to loosen it up a little bit and pull it out. Now, if you're concerned about getting it back in the hole, what you can do is take some tape and put it over the end of it, kind of like a shoelace. And I have a cat hair on there, sorry about that. And wrap it around the one end. That way, when you go to put it back in, you can thread it through the hole more easily. So I'm going to pull that out. Then I'm going to open up the paintbrush bag. Actually, I guess I'll need the scissors for this. Thought it had a little flap. And I'm going to take the paint and shake it up a little bit to mix it. Undo the top. Has this foil on it. Should have done this off camera. Let me pause for a moment and I'll be right back once I have the top open. Okay, I have the top off now, and what I'm going to do is just pour a little bit of this gently onto the shamrock and use my brush to scrape the side there. And then I'm going to start painting. Now I'm painting on my craft table, and I don't need to really put anything down, but you could put down a newspaper, piece of plastic, drop cloth, that sort of thing. I'm going to make sure I go over this, get at all the edges, although like I said, I may come back and distress it at some point. And I want my whole shamrock to be white because my decor in the room I'm going to put this in is mostly tan with some white trim, and I want to make sure that I don't have it too dark so that it won't show up against the tan walls, but I want it to have some brown on it, which is why I'm going to go back over it with the antique wax. Take a little bit more and just put it right on my brush so I can get the edges of these areas here that I haven't gotten. I'm going back over it with long strokes, so I make sure to get my strokes in the same direction as the wood grain so it doesn't look bad once it's all finished. More for that edge. Pour some on. You could put this paint on a little paper plate or a little piece of wax paper. I didn't think to grab that before I started, so we'll just make do with what we have. I want to get white in here, even though I am going back to go back over this, just because I want to have a consistent base before I start to do the distressing and antiquing. So now I'm going to pour some more onto the piece, since I have a larger area to cover here, and dab some along here. I'll start over here at the edge, go into the groove with the foam brush, and keep going. I'll come back when I'm all done. Well, apparently I ran out of memory as I was filming the remainder of this project. But essentially what I did was, once the white paint dried, I took some sandpaper and I lightly sanded over the whole piece and then roughed up the edges of the piece more because I wanted those to look a little more distressed. And then I took the wax, the antique color wax, and I put it on the tip of this sponge brush. Not sure you can see that very well, but and then I went into the grooves so that those would come out more dark, and then I dry brushed over the top of that with the wax, and then it was a little dark, so I went back in and I took the brush that I painted the white with and I dry brushed some more white on so that it wouldn't be quite as dark. I hadn't anticipated the stain would dry the wax would dry as quickly as it did. And then once that was all done, I went back in with the sandpaper and I sanded over everything again. And I really like how it turned out. It looks very rustic, weathered, and I think it looks a lot more expensive than the $3 I paid for the piece. I did have to buy the paint and the stain or the wax, but I have a lot left over. As you can see, I only used like less than a teaspoon of each of those for the dry brushing part of it, and maybe a teaspoon of paint, tablespoon of paint for doing the initial paint job. So that's it. This is Pam again from Creative Homescaping. Thank you for tuning in today. And if you like this sort of video with DIYs, home decor, hauls, home organizing, and that sort of thing, I hope you'll consider subscribing using the link down below, and then hitting the subscribe button, the bell, so that you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks again, and bye-bye.